Is the housing market in a bubble? Depending on who you ask, you might get a different answer. But today I'm asking the question, are we in a bubble that will burst or a bubble that will deflate? So let's check it out. Is the housing market in a bubble? Looks like it, but it likely won't pop. This, keep in mind, is a national article. They're not talking specifically about Phoenix, but I still found it interesting because obviously we're experiencing all of the same things as the rest of the US, if not more aggressively here in some cases. So they interviewed Sheila Bair. She formerly served as the chairwoman of the FDIC. She was one of the first people to acknowledge the full risk of subprime mortgage loans, according to this article. And so they're talking about how affordability is worse than it's been in decades. This isn't new news to us. We've talked about this many times. And before the pandemic, home price median in the country was about $322,000. Today, it's around $416,000. So with this huge run up in prices and also high mortgage rates, we're going to talk about that in a minute. We've gotten to a place where things are somewhat unaffordable for many people. They say a housing bubble can occur when prices become so high that they detach from demand. They are saying that economists continue to insist that today's housing market is not experiencing the same type of bubble as the mid-2000s. But that said, researchers at the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas warned that there's a growing concern that U.S. home prices are again becoming unhinged from fundamentals due to the last few years and the run-up in prices. Even though Bair said home prices need to correct downward, she doesn't expect that it'll happen anytime soon. The U.S. is also experiencing a housing shortage, which has helped keep home prices high amid today's high rates. And so that's something we've talked about a lot on this channel, is the shortage of inventory and demand that still exists, that we are still seeing these prices stay relatively high and not moving all that much. Bair doesn't expect the bubble to burst, but she said letting that bubble deflate a bit would probably be a good thing. And I think this is such a great way to describe what we need. I do think that we've gotten to a place where affordability is a challenge for many people. And so deflating this bubble a bit might be helpful. A burst would be not great for many people. Deflating, we're going to go along with that. I like that idea of deflating this bubble that we're in. She does say there's much less speculation in the housing market today. And even if prices come down, existing homeowners will have built up significant amount of home equity over the last several years alone, so they won't be underwater. Now, I know many of you have a different opinion to that, but I find that interesting, her perspective from going through it in her role in 2006 and seeing things today and really having that perspective between the two markets. So we got some great news here, right? Listings tick up and prices tick down during an ice cold fall market. Again, this is another national article, but we'll compare to what's going on in Phoenix. Basically talking about how just transactions are super slow. The amount of homes that are coming to market is starting to tick up, and those are not being absorbed by the demand that's out there. And so I figured, let's see what we have going on in Phoenix. And you know what's interesting is we don't have a lot of new listings coming to the market, as that article suggests. This yellow line here is our rate of new listings, and it's kind of stable, coming down a little bit. Ignore this. This is just because the week hasn't finished yet, so it has that drop off. But what we're seeing here is really not new listings coming on the market super quickly or more than we've experienced. But what we are seeing is our active listings are increasing. And why that is because we don't have the demand to absorb those. So even though we're still getting the same amount of new listings coming every week, they're not getting under contract by that demand. Therefore, we're starting to see a rising number of listings on the market. And they said home prices are ticking down. So I figured let's see what it looks like here in Phoenix too. Now this is the median monthly. So this is gonna fluctuate a little bit, but you can see we've seen a little tiny downward movement in home prices at 432 versus 435 from August to September on the median. Doesn't tell us all that much just because, that's for homes that closed last month. And so that's not necessarily related to this activity. We are seeing a little bit here of listings going up and prices going down here in Phoenix. We do want to keep an eye on this because this is certainly going to determine whether or not we start to see an oversupply of listings. And in that situation, that's when we'll see sellers have to get more competitive and start cutting their prices. So mortgage rates. Mortgage rates jump back near long-term highs. So this article just came out yesterday. Last week was mostly good for mortgage rates, but it sounds like yesterday was a bad day. All the progress that they made last week pretty much went away. And now we're back to where rates were at on the 6th of October. This article goes on to talk about how there really isn't a whole lot of indication of what changed rates so significantly yesterday. But if you are in the market and ready to make an offer on a property, make sure you're checking with your lender because this rate might be a little bit different than what you were quoted, last week. With that being said, if you are out there looking for a home, make sure to check the description below. I do have a link where you can search our MLS for homes for sale. Now let's talk about the Cromford Report. This is the Cromford Market Index. We look at this every week and it shows us supply and demand factors in the Phoenix area. All of this is specific to Phoenix Metro. Anything over 110 is a seller's market. So at 133, we are still in a seller's market here, but this has been dwindling every week. Our demand is at 73.4. So that has been going down, with 100 being that normal range. Our supply is about 28% below normal. And then supply is about 45% below normal. This has been creeping up. So just what we're seeing in, that graph that I showed for the number of listings on the market, we've got this supply number starting to go up. Now, typically, I'm able to show you guys every major city in the Phoenix area and how their city has changed in terms of the CMI week over week. And I have bad news because the Cromford Report wasn't able to update it this week. So I don't have that for you, unfortunately, but I will next week. So you'll be able to jump in and find out what's going on there. So we've got the potential of a housing bubble. We've got the potential of this bubble popping or deflating. I want to know from you, what do you think is going to happen? And if you want to know more about a potential housing recession, watch this video right here. I'll be back on Friday, guys. Thanks for joining.